Joining me now, House Majority Whip, Minnesota Congressman Tom Emmer. Congratulations, by the way, Congressman. Well-deserved position here. I want to ask, what kind of compromise are Republicans looking for?
Well, it's a little early to talk about compromise. We just want to have a discussion, Charles. The White House, everybody I think in Congress knows that we've got an impending debt ceiling issue that we've got to deal with. House Republicans, led by Kevin McCarthy, are here ready, willing, and able to start negotiating, not just on the debt ceiling itself, but on real spending reforms going forward that'll put this country in a better position to meet its obligations for the next generation and generations to come.
You know, this will be the 79th time that the debt ceiling's been raised since 1960. So you've had 78 opportunities to do this in the past. You have to forgive me and the people watching the show if they're a little bit cynical about all of this. And then there are these larger issues, Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security. They're cropping up. They're real issues that don't go away. Why can't they be sincerely, discussed and maybe some solutions, some elegant solutions applied?
Well, the new majority in the House agrees with you, Charles, and agrees with Americans. You've got a government that takes in $1, and for every dollar we take in, we're spending $1.29. That is not sustainable. House Republicans, under the leadership of our new Speaker, Kevin McCarthy, are ready, willing, and able to do the negotiations that are necessary. The president, on the other hand, has said there will be absolutely no negotiations. Now he's going to do a speech, which I think is a huge mistake for him to dig in his heels on this issue. In order to do this, you've got to be reasonable. The reasonable thing to do is to sit down and have a discussion. You got to be responsible. House Republicans are ready, Charles, and I think eventually the president's going to understand you're going to have to sit down and talk with us because it's not about Republicans and Democrats. This is about the future of this great nation.
Although there's always public relations involved, this White House in particular always seems to be focused on winning that more than anything else. And they're going to say Republicans are always reluctant when it comes to the debt ceiling to make any modifications when there's a Republican in office, but they become even more intransigent when there's a Democrat in the White House. We've got a chart on the screen right now that shows just the major differences. Of course, both parties are that way, but more so with Republicans. What do you counter with that when they say this is just typical Republican stuff?
Well, try us. Mr. President, the phone is ringing. America's calling. Time for you to pick up that phone. House Republicans are ready to answer that call. We're ready to sit down and have that discussion and be responsible, be sensible, and be reasonable to get this thing done with important, necessary spending reforms that'll put this country on a better track, a sustainable track for the next generation and generations to come.
Meanwhile, the House expected to pass a bill tomorrow that limits the oil reserve withdrawal from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which, by the way, is at its lowest level since April of 1984. The White House saying it's dead on arrival. What are they missing here?
Well, they're missing how the markets work first, Charles. This is called the Strategic Petroleum Response Act. This is the first step of responsible behavior by House Republicans doing the work to restore American energy independence, which, by the way, is directly influencing inflation in this country. It's not just gas prices. It's everything about our standard of living and the cost of living in this country, Charles. Essentially, what this administration has done is rather than allow for new production, rather than allow for competition in the marketplace to work, they've been draining our emergency supply and selling it to people like China. It's down 40%. You point out 1984, 40% of it is depleted, and they don't have any plan to refill it. That's what this bill is all about. Again, it's the first step in restoring American energy independence, which, frankly, the Biden administration has destroyed.
Congressman, again, congratulations, and thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Charles.